Hidden between the towering Andes and the endless Amazon lies Bolivia, a country where every sunrise seems to unveil another secret feathered jewel. From flaming salt deserts to misty mountain lakes, Bolivia is a crossroads of worlds, icy peaks above and tropical jungles below. And in between, birds so rare, so surreal, you might think they were painted by dreams. Here, the greater rhea races across golden grasslands like a living relic of the dinosaurs. The sword-billed hummingbird flashes through thin mountain air with a beak longer than its body. And deep in the forest, the blue-throated macaw screams its echo of survival, a cry heard in only one corner of our planet. Bolivia isn't just another stop for birdwatchers. It's a world where beauty defies reason, where evolution took its most daring risks. So today, let's spread our wings through the high Andes, the cloud forests, and the lush Amazon edges, to meet 15 rare and breathtaking bird species you won't believe still exist. Which one will steal your heart or challenge what you thought was possible in nature? Ever looked at an ostrich and thought, that's the last bird I'd want chasing me? Well, meet its South American cousin, the greater rhea, a bird that looks like it just escaped from a prehistoric marathon. Standing taller than a man's chest, with long, muscular legs and that suspiciously confident attitude, the rhea is basically the ostrich's Latin American remix. It doesn't fly, because why fly when you can sprint 60 kilometers an hour across the plains like a feathery Lamborghini? You'll find them storming through Bolivia's Chaco savannas and Andean foothills, ruling the grasslands like overgrown chickens with an ego problem. And here's the twist. In the world of rheas, it's dad who does all the parenting. The male builds the nest, incubates up to 60 eggs, yes, 60, and raises the chicks, sometimes from different mothers. So yeah, this guy is basically the world's most exhausted single father. Scientists say that kind of shared maternity helps the species survive. But honestly, can he even remember which chick belongs to which mom? Imagine a bird daycare with no name tags. Fun fact, rheas have tiny, almost useless wings, yet they love to show them off. They flare them like a cape when running, or do this weird side dance during courtship. It's half runway show, half workout video. And surprisingly, they're vegetarians, mostly. They munch on plants and seeds, but now and then, a frog or lizard just disappears. Accidental, they say. Sure, so next time you picture prehistoric creatures, remember, one still runs free in Bolivia, kicking up dust and looking fabulous doing it. Now tell me, if evolution gave you wings that couldn't fly, would you still show them off every chance you got? If the greater rhea was Bolivia's big league runner, then the lesser rhea is his faster, scrappier little brother. Same attitude, smaller frame, double the drama. Locals call him the Suri. He lives higher up in the Andean plateaus, where the air is thin, the wind never stops, and even your shadow feels tired. Yet somehow this fluffy speedster thrives up here. Legs built like shock absorbers, feathers puffed like thermal jackets. Now here's the question. If you can't fly, how do you survive predators on a mountain plain? Easy, you outrun them. And the lesser rhea doesn't just run, it glides across the tundra with this weird zigzag ballet, flapping its useless little wings like it's auditioning for Dancing with the Stars, Bird Edition. And those feathers? They're gray and white, soft like smoke. Perfect camouflage against salt flats and snow patches. Hunters used to mistake them for drifting tumbleweed until that tumbleweed sprinted away. Fun fact, these rheas are surprisingly social. They form flocks of 20 or more, often led by the most experienced male. During breeding season, though, the mood shifts fast. The same male suddenly goes solo, territorial, hissing, kicking dust like, "Get off my nesting zone." Just like his bigger cousin, he's the one doing all the work, building the nest, brooding up to 30 eggs, and raising chicks that aren't even his. Scientists say it's teamwork. but I'd call it romantic confusion with feathers. Oh, and their eyesight? Incredible. They can spot danger miles away. Not bad for a bird whose head looks like it borrowed eyes from a meerkat. The lesser rhea is proof that smaller doesn't mean weaker, just smarter at surviving where nothing's easy. Up here in the high Andes, life's a marathon, not a flight. So here's my challenge for you. If you couldn't soar above your problems, would you learn to outrun them instead? High in Bolivia's Andean tundra, where the air bites and the world looks like it forgot what warmth feels like, lives one of the strangest survivors on Earth, the Rufous-bellied seedsnipe. At first glance, you'd never even notice it. Why? Because this bird is basically a feathered rock. Seriously. Its plumage blends so perfectly with the brown and gray scree that even professional birdwatchers have stepped right past it, muttering, "Where the heck is it?" It's a master of camouflage, a ground-dwelling ghost that laughs at the idea of trees or nests. Instead, it lives among stones, snow patches, and tufts of moss, thriving where oxygen is a rumor and frostbite is a lifestyle. Now here's where it gets wild. The seedsnipe looks like a sandpiper, but it's actually related to pigeons. Yeah, pigeons. Evolution basically said, let's take a dove, throw it into a freezer, and see what happens. And somehow it worked. They feed mostly on tiny alpine plants and seeds, scratching at frozen ground like they're gardening in a glacier. They've even developed feathered legs and toes, built-in snow boots, to walk over ice without freezing. You know what's really funny? They don't migrate. While other birds fly thousands of miles to escape the cold, the seedsnipe just squints into the blizzard and says, "Nope, I live here now." During breeding season, males perform these subtle display flights, just a few meters off the ground, like a low-budget dance to impress the ladies. Not flashy, just enough to say, "Hey, I'm not dead." That's attractive, right? And when they finally nest, they don't even build one. They just lay eggs in a shallow scrape among rocks. Because who needs furniture when you've got style? The Rufous-bellied seedsnipe isn't the most colorful bird, but it might be the most stubborn. It turns survival into an art form, beauty hidden under grit and wind. So tell me, if blending in perfectly kept you alive, would you still want to stand out? Some birds live loud, others live like poetry. And the Andean avocet is one of those rare creatures that turns survival into choreography. A long-legged dancer gliding across Bolivia's shimmering salt flats. Picture this: thin mountain air, a mirror of water reflecting the sky, and a bird with a beak that curves upward like a smile, calmly sweeping through shallows at nearly 4,000 meters above sea level. Every motion is slow, deliberate, elegant. It's as if the avocet knows that in a world this harsh, grace itself is rebellion. Now here's something fascinating. That upside-down bill isn't a mistake. It's a tool. While most birds peck, the avocet scythes its bill side to side underwater, catching insects and crustaceans invisible to the human eye. It's nature's version of fly fishing, just prettier. They're found in high-altitude lagoons of Bolivia, Chile, and Peru, where daytime heat burns and nights freeze hard enough to crack the earth. And yet they stroll across icy shallows like it's a spa day. Their plumage is pure contrast. White body, black wings, cinnamon neck, like an artist's first brushstroke on a blank canvas. But don't let that elegance fool you. They can be surprisingly feisty. When predators approach their nests, tiny scrapes on open ground, avocets pull off one of the most dramatic distraction acts in birdland. They fake injuries, dragging a wing, limping pitifully. Then when the intruder chases them, boom, they fly off perfectly fine, laughing in bird language. And here's a twist. In thin Andean air, their calls echo like delicate bells, creating one of the eeriest, most peaceful soundscapes on the continent. It's not just a bird call, it's background music for clouds. The Andean avocet proves that beauty and toughness can coexist. Soft colors, steel spirit. It's the kind of bird that doesn't fight the elements, it dances with them. So here's my thought for you. When life gets cold and thin, would you rather fight the wind or learn to glide on its rhythm? Welcome to the highest navigable lake on Earth, Lake Titicaca. It sits between Bolivia and Peru, 12,500 feet above sea level, where the clouds brush the mountains and the water feels like melted sky. And right here lives one of the world's rarest, strangest water birds, the Titicaca grebe. At first glance, it looks a bit like a duck who's been through too many bad hair days. Fluffy neck, short wings, and an expression that says, "Don't judge me, I'm surviving." But here's the catch. It can't fly, not even a little. Its wings are so small, they're practically decorative. So how does a flightless bird survive in a lake the size of a small sea? By being an Olympic-level diver. The Titicaca grebe swims like a torpedo, slipping under the surface for up to 30 seconds at a time, chasing tiny fish through underwater forests of reeds. It's so adapted to life in the water that even its toes are lobed, half paddle, half propeller. And get this, because it can't migrate, it's completely trapped in this one lake. That means if anything happens to Titicaca's ecosystem, pollution, invasive trout, disappearing reeds, this bird has nowhere else to go, no second chance. That's why locals call it the Zampulin del Titicaca, the little diver of the gods. In their legends, it's a symbol of endurance. Fragile, yes, but also eternal, like the lake itself. Fun fact, pairs of grebes often build floating nests anchored to reeds. Imagine that, your home drifting gently on waves all day, safe from predators, unless the wind picks up. Then it's basically a bird Airbnb that forgot to pay for mooring. The Titicaca grebe may never take to the skies, but it rules its own kingdom beneath the water. It's proof that freedom doesn't always mean flying. Sometimes it means belonging so deeply to one place that you become part of it. So tell me, if you could master just one world, would you still envy those who fly? Every country has its hidden treasure. For Bolivia, it's not gold, not silver, not even salt. It's light. And that light lives inside a bird no bigger than your thumb, the black-hooded sunbeam. If you're lucky enough to see one, and that's a big if, you'll never forget it. Imagine a tiny hummingbird dressed in dark velvet with a chest that suddenly explodes into fiery violet and bronze when sunlight hits. It's like someone trapped a piece of sunset inside a heartbeat. Found only in the Bolivian Andes, this species is so rare that even lifelong birders call it a myth. Locals whisper it's a messenger from the gods, a spark that connects the sun to the mountain. And honestly, once you see that shimmering glow, you start to believe it too. But don't be fooled by the magic. This little thing is a fighter. It lives at 3,000 to 4,000 meters, where oxygen is thin, nights are freezing, and flowers bloom for only a few hours each day. Yet the sunbeam times its life perfectly, sipping nectar right when mountain blooms open, then darting off like a living jewel with an attitude. Its wings beat more than 50 times a second, creating a sound like distant rain, and it's territorial. If another hummingbird dares to enter its patch, the sunbeam turns into a mini jet fighter, chasing, buzzing, flashing colors like a neon warning sign. Fun fact, scientists once struggled to capture its colors on camera. Under shadow, it looks plain black, but hit it with sunlight at just the right angle. Boom, the bird turns electric. It's not pigment, it's physics. Microscopic feather structures bend light, splitting it like a prism, turning science into spectacle. The black-hooded sunbeam doesn't need to shout for attention. It just waits for the light and becomes unforgettable. So here's the thought. If your brilliance only shows when the light hits you right, would you hide from the shadows or learn to shine through them? If you've ever thought your nose was too big, the sword-billed hummingbird would like a word. Because this bird's beak is longer than its body. Yes, longer. It's like evolution said, let's make a hummingbird that doubles as a fencing champion. And somehow, everyone just nodded. You'll find this aerodynamic oddball darting around the Andean cloud forests, including Bolivia's high valleys, where mist wraps the trees like smoke and flowers grow on vertical cliffs. Here, most hummingbirds have short, delicate bills. Not this guy. The sword-billed is nature's overachiever. Its weapon of choice lets it sip nectar from flowers no other bird can reach. That absurdly long beak is both genius and curse. It gives exclusive access to Passiflora mixta, the hanging coruba flowers, but it also makes eating anything else a logistical nightmare. You want to preen your feathers? Sorry, that sword's in the way. Want to scratch your chest? Forget it. Even cleaning its beak means sticking its entire head under its wing like a yoga master. But when it flies, it's poetry in motion. The long bill balances its tiny body, slicing through fog like an arrow. You can hear its wings hum at nearly 80 beats per second, a sound that fades into silence before your brain catches up. Here's a fun fact. No other bird on Earth has a beak proportionally this long. It's the only species that's evolved to fit a flower shape so perfectly that the two depend on each other. Bird and blossom, locked in an ancient alliance. Take away the flower, and the bird disappears. Take away the bird, and the flower stops spreading. It's nature's most beautiful love contract. No lawyers required. And maybe that's what makes the sword-billed hummingbird so mesmerizing. It looks impossible, yet it exists, proving that even the strangest designs can become masterpieces when the world gives them purpose. So tell me, if your difference made life harder, but also made it magical, would you change it? If the heavens ever designed a firework that never fades, it would look exactly like the red-tailed comet. One flash of this bird, and you'd swear the sky just set itself on fire. Found across Bolivia's Andean valleys and dry intermontane scrublands, this hummingbird isn't shy about its looks. Its tail, two long, shimmering streamers of copper, red, and gold, can reach twice the length of its body. When sunlight hits, it doesn't fly. It ignites. And here's the fun part. Those glowing tail feathers aren't just for show. They're the comet's secret weapon in love. Males hover in front of females, tilting their tails so they shimmer like molten metal. A performance halfway between a dance and a laser light show. If the lady's impressed, she'll stay still for a few seconds, which in hummingbird dating time is basically a yes. Now imagine trying to fly with two ribbons trailing behind you. Aerodynamically, it's ridiculous, but the comet pulls it off with perfect control, diving and twisting through thin air at 13,000 feet. It's the fighter jet of beauty, designed not for efficiency, but for awe. Fun fact, that glittering tail is an optical illusion. Up close, the feathers are dull bronze. It's the microscopic structure that bends light into fire. No paint, no pigment, just pure physics performing a magic trick. And while most hummingbirds flash and dash in tropical forests, the comet prefers the dry, windy highlands. Where other species flee the chill, it hovers calmly among spiny shrubs, sipping nectar like it's royalty refusing to rush. You could say the red-tailed comet is evolution showing off. Proof that survival and style don't have to be opposites. It doesn't just live in the sky, it decorates it. So here's a question for you. If you had a tail that made the world stop and stare, would you fly quietly through life or light it up every time you moved? Every forest has a ruler, and in Bolivia's mist-covered Andes, that crown belongs to the black-and-chestnut eagle, a bird so rare and so misunderstood that even scientists call it the ghost of the mountains. Picture it, a massive silhouette slicing through fog, wings spread nearly 6 feet wide, chest glowing a deep copper red against black feathers. When it screams, the entire valley goes silent. Even monkeys freeze mid-bite. But for all that drama, this eagle is almost never seen. It lives in steep, cloud-soaked canyons where humans rarely go, hunting from the shadows, vanishing before you can raise a camera. It's not avoiding fame, it just prefers mystery. Here's what makes it fascinating. Unlike many raptors, it's a forest hunter, not a sky chaser. It weaves through trees with the precision of a drone, ambushing prey like squirrels, parrots, even small monkeys. It's a silent assassin wrapped in feathers, and yet it's in danger. Fewer than 1,000 may remain across the entire Andes. Deforestation has shredded its territory. Farmers sometimes mistake it for a livestock killer and shoot on sight. Ironically, this bird that rules the forest might lose its kingdom to chainsaws and myths. Fun fact, despite its ferocity, it's a surprisingly devoted parent. Pairs build enormous stick nests, nearly 2 meters wide, high in the canopy, often reusing the same spot for years. The male hunts, the female guards, and together they raise just one chick every couple of seasons. They don't rush greatness. Seeing one in the wild is like glimpsing a legend that still believes in itself. It's strength without arrogance, wild beauty that doesn't need applause. So let me ask you this. If the world misunderstood your power, would you roar louder to prove it or stay silent, letting your presence speak for itself? Some birds glide, some soar, but the orange-breasted falcon, it attacks the sky. This rare falcon, found in fragments of Bolivia's eastern forests, looks like someone spliced together a peregrine, a tiger, and a thunderbolt. Its chest burns with rusty orange. Its wings are black steel, and its flight? Let's just say gravity doesn't stand a chance. It's one of the fastest birds in the Americas, clocked at nearly 300 kilometers per hour in a dive. That's faster than most race cars and about 10 times faster than your morning reaction time. It hunts bats, doves, and even swallows midair, striking with such precision that prey often doesn't even realize it's dead. But here's the twist. Despite being born for speed, the orange-breasted falcon lives quietly. It nests on remote cliff faces, miles from human noise, often near waterfalls where its cries echo like rolling thunder. Sometimes a pair will hold the same cliff for decades. Monogamous, loyal, and fiercely territorial. It's love with altitude. And like any true power couple, they share the work. The female guards the nest. The male hunts and performs aerial acrobatics that would make Top Gun pilots jealous. Seriously, and imagine a bird pulling a 9G turn just to impress his mate. That's dedication. Fun fact, this falcon's hunting strategy is so extreme that young birds spend years perfecting it. They'll chase dragonflies for practice, learning to calculate speed, wind, and distance, basically running flight school on hard mode. Yet for all its ferocity, the orange-breasted falcon is endangered. Habitat loss and illegal hunting have shrunk its population to just a few hundred pairs across Central and South America. Still, when it dives, the world looks up, reminded that perfection doesn't need applause, just space to exist. So here's my challenge for you. If you could master one thing so completely that it defied gravity, would you use it to show off or to stay free? If Bolivia had a national treasure that could talk, laugh, and scream all at once, it would be the blue-throated macaw. Bright turquoise feathers, golden chest, a face that looks permanently surprised, and a voice so loud it could wake a sleeping volcano. This macaw isn't just beautiful, it's sacred. It's endemic to Bolivia, found nowhere else on Earth. Once common across the Llanos de Moxos, now there are fewer than 400 left in the wild. That's not a typo. 400. You could fit the entire species into one movie theater. But don't mistake rarity for fragility. The blue-throated macaw has heart and a sense of humor. They live in family groups, pairs that stay together for life, constantly grooming, playing, and arguing. A lot. Their screeches echo across palm savannas like a chaotic orchestra that somehow still makes you smile. What really makes them special is their connection to history. Centuries ago, indigenous peoples considered them messengers of the sun god. Their feathers used in ceremonial headdresses, a link between earth and sky. But as forests disappeared and pet traders captured them, their colors began to vanish from both nature and culture. Conservationists now fight to bring them back, replanting mataku palms, their favorite nesting trees, and protecting remaining pairs. Each successful chick feels like a miracle with wings. Fun fact, these macaws are brilliant mimics. They can imitate voices, door creaks, even cell phone ringtones. So yes, somewhere in Bolivia, there's probably a parrot answering calls before you do. When you see one in flight, sunlight blazing through those blue wings, it doesn't just look like a bird anymore. It looks like hope refusing to go extinct. Because some species don't just represent nature, they represent second chances. So here's a thought. If your voice could bring a world back from silence, would you scream to be heard or sing to be remembered? If you thought Bolivia's blue-throated macaw was rare, meet its fiery cousin, the red-fronted macaw, a bird so bold, so loud, and so stubbornly alive that even extinction seems afraid of it. It's the only macaw species that calls the dry Andes home. Not the rainforest, not the tropics, but dusty cliffs and sunburned canyons where most parrots would faint. It's as if someone took a tropical bird and said, "Let's see if you can handle the desert." Spoiler, it can. The red-fronted macaw wears its defiance like armor. Green wings, orange belly, and a bright red patch right above the beak, like it dipped its forehead in fire. When sunlight hits, that red glows like an ember refusing to die. They live in tight-knit flocks, nesting in cracks and caves high on rock faces. You can hear them long before you see them, screaming across valleys in perfect stereo. Not because they're angry, that's just how macaws say good morning. Fun fact, these birds are surprisingly comedian-like. Pairs perform playful beak fencing, hanging upside down, or gently stealing twigs from each other's nests just to get a reaction. It's basically parrot stand-up comedy with feathers. But beneath the laughter lies danger. There are fewer than 500 left in the wild, trapped between deforestation, illegal capture, and the slow collapse of their food sources. And yet, every morning, they rise screaming from the cliffs, as if yelling, "We're still here." Conservationists and local farmers now work together to protect nesting cliffs and create feeding zones, turning former conflict into cooperation. Slowly, the fire of these macaws burns brighter again. The red-fronted macaw isn't just another bird. It's rebellion in color form, living proof that beauty can survive even when the world turns to dust. So here's the question. If your world was crumbling around you, would you whisper for help or shout your survival into the wind? Down in the river plains of Bolivia, where water mirrors the sky and sandbars stretch for miles, lives a bird that walks like it owns the place. Meet the pied lapwing, the tiny black and white guardian of the riverbanks. From a distance, it looks like it's wearing a tuxedo, neat, polished, ready for an evening gala. But don't let that formal look fool you. This little bird is attitude wrapped in feathers. It struts, it chirps, it defends its turf like a bodyguard who's had too much coffee. You'll find it patrolling the edges of shallow lagoons, picking insects and tiny crustaceans from the mud. And when danger comes close, maybe a heron, maybe a human, it launches into one of the loudest protest routines in nature. Screaming, flapping, fake charging, basically yelling, "Back off, pal! This is my beach." Here's the fun twist. Pied lapwings are actually great actors. If a predator nears their nest, they pull off a fake injury performance worthy of an Oscar. They'll limp, drag a wing, and flop pitifully across the sand, luring the threat away, then suddenly leap up and fly off perfectly fine. Drama level, 10 out of 10. Their nests, just a few specks of eggs right on the open sand. No branches, no shelter, just trust and perfect camouflage. When you live on nature's stage, sometimes blending in is better than building walls. Fun fact, their legs are a gorgeous pale pink, and when they run in pairs across the mudflats, they look like ballerinas rehearsing a duet. It's oddly graceful for such a loudmouth. The pied lapwing might not be rare, but it feels special because it reminds you that courage doesn't need size and confidence doesn't need wingspan. So here's my question for you. If standing your ground made you look ridiculous, would you still do it? If color had a sound, it would probably sing like the red-breasted meadowlark. You'll spot it across Bolivia's open grasslands, standing tall on fence posts, chest blazing red like a sunrise on fire. At first, you might mistake it for a blackbird with a fashion upgrade, but when the sunlight hits that deep crimson breast, boom! It's like the whole field just got front row seats to a rock concert. He doesn't sing quietly either. He belts his song from the tallest perch around, as if to say, "You hear that? Yeah, that's my playlist." The males are show-offs, unapologetically so. During breeding season, they puff up, sing louder, and flash that red chest like it's a neon sign for love. And you know what? It works. Females can't resist that confidence. But here's where it gets interesting. Their romantic performances double as territory warnings. Every note says, "This patch of grass? Taken." And if another male dares to challenge him, the meadowlark doesn't back down. It rises into the air, singing even louder, wings flaring like banners in the wind. Their nests are hidden deep among tall grass, little domed shelters woven from blades and leaves, almost invisible to predators. Both parents work as a team, guarding fiercely against snakes and even larger birds. It's like the suburban family of the savannah, loud neighbors, but good parents. Fun fact, despite their vibrant look, meadowlarks are surprisingly adaptable. They thrive in farmland, pastures, and open plains, turning human-altered landscapes into concert halls. They remind us that not all beauty hides in wilderness. Sometimes it sings right beside us. There's something deeply human about this bird. Proud, bold, maybe a little vain, but full of life. It doesn't whisper its joy, it declares it. So here's the thought for you. If the world gave you a voice that could cut through the noise, would you sing to impress or to inspire? High in Bolivia's Andean sky, where the air turns thin and sunlight feels sharp enough to cut stone, there glows a secret made of light itself, the black-hooded sunbeam. At first glance, you might miss it. Just another small hummingbird, dark, quiet, unremarkable. But wait for the sun to move, and suddenly this tiny bird erupts into color, violet, copper, and burning gold, flashing from its chest like a heartbeat made of fire. It's found only in Bolivia, perched between cloud and canyon. A national treasure so rare that even many Bolivians have never seen one in the wild. It's not loud, it's not fast, but it's unforgettable. Its name fits perfectly. Sunbeam. Because it doesn't create beauty, it reveals it. Those shimmering colors aren't pigment, they're light-bending magic. Each feather is structured like glass, splitting sunlight into a spectrum the same way a prism does. So when the world goes gray, this bird turns it back to gold. Fun fact, despite its delicate size, the sunbeam is a total diva. Territorial, fearless, and quick to challenge any hummingbird that dares to sip from its flower patch. It hovers like a tiny helicopter, buzzing, flashing, saying, "Back off, this bloom's taken." It feeds on nectar from high-altitude shrubs that bloom only for minutes a day, timing its visits like clockwork, memorizing every patch of color across its mountain. It's part scientist, part artist, part daredevil. And yet, its world is shrinking. Climate change and deforestation push the flowers higher, chasing the cold. Still, the sunbeam refuses to fade. It stays, glowing brighter against the odds, as if to say, "I was made for light. Don't count me out." The black-hooded sunbeam isn't just rare. It's a reminder that even in thin air, brilliance can still breathe. So tell me, if your glow only showed when the world turned dark, would you hide it or let it burn? From the windswept peaks of the Andes to the golden wetlands of the lowlands, Bolivia's skies tell a story that no map can capture. A story of color, courage, and survival. We've met giants that run instead of fly, like the proud rheas of the plains. We've met jewels that shimmer in sunlight, like the red-tailed comet and the black-hooded sunbeam, defying thin air just to shine. And we've seen voices of hope, the blue-throated and red-fronted macaws, fighting extinction one scream at a time. Every one of these birds is more than beauty. They're survivors, storytellers, miracles wearing feathers. Each one reminds us that the wild isn't out there somewhere far away. it's alive, breathing, right above us. So as the last Bolivian sunset fades behind the mountains, remember this: every time a bird takes flight, the sky itself remembers what freedom feels like. Which of these 15 rare species amazed you the most? Tell us in the comments. And don't forget to share this flight if it made you see nature a little differently, because the world needs more wings and a few more people who notice them.